So the road of going downward continues to spiral for Undisputed. When it comes to the ratings, by the way, Fox Sports 1, Skip Bayless, they tried everything and everything to, overturn and make this L into a W when it comes to the ratings, by the way, by different ways. They have hired different staff, different personnel. They have tried different guests. They tried anything and everything, and Undisputed just continues to take a nosedive. Now, in my humble opinion, yes, they have lost a lot of viewership, and the ratings have been tanking. Now, when this show started, I believe it was 7 years ago, when it was Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. This was supposed to be the First Take killer. When they first premiered their first show 7 years ago, they overtake First Take for 1 week, and the rest, they say, was not history for Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. They didn't make history. They was the second best show. The first best show, when it comes to sports entertainment, was obviously First Take. And First Take was going through their woes. They replaced Skip Bayless with Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, to the point to Stephen A. Smith going to management and saying, hey, it's either Max or me. One of us is not going to be on this show. They chose Stephen A. Smith. Max Kellerman was part of the latest round of cuts at ESPN, cutting payroll. And, through all that time, ESPN did not take a First Take didn't take a nosedive when it comes to the viewership and the ratings. And I've always, told you guys that ESPN is in more households than Fox Sports 1. I'm just sorry, it is. ESPN, the name is the name is a more global name than Fox Sports 1. I'm sorry, it just is. Now, Fox Sports 1, they have, won some battles. They took Colin Cowherd away from ESPN. A lot of people would say otherwise. A lot of people would think that, ESPN was going to get rid of Colin Cowherd, but whatever. They also got Skip Bayless. They also got some other personalities from ESPN to, migrate to Fox Sports 1, like Jason Whitlock and others. Rob Parker, Chris Broussard, and even through all that, they have had their wins, but ESPN has had the biggest wins. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about and focusing more on Undisputed. Now, there have been reports out there that's saying that when Undisputed goes on their summer break, Undisputed may not return. Okay, there's a lot of insiders that's saying that Undisputed has seen its final days. Now, I think that's going to be a little bit difficult to chew. You're already losing money on not signing Shannon Sharpe. I always told you guys, I felt like it was going to be too pricey and too expensive and just too much of an ego and too much of a headache if they would have maxed out Shannon Sharpe. They already maxed out Skip Bayless. And if you max out both of these guys, you're going to have to relinquish a lot of control and influence away from Skip Bayless and give it to Shannon Sharpe. And I just didn't think Fox Sports 1 was willing to go down that road. It was too pricey, too expensive. So they had to, the more better cost efficient thing is, okay, who, we already have in the pocket. Who's going to cost us the least amount of money? And if they would have just went, just exclusively to Shannon Sharpe, you have to max them out, but then you have to buy out Skip Bayless. You already maxed out Skip Bayless. So I thought it was a money thing. I think it had less to do with egos and personalities and things of that nature. I think those things contribute to their decision. But like I say, the rest is history. They already made their choice. Shannon Sharpe is already at ESPN doing a lot of things for ESPN. ESPN, it would not surprise me none if ESPN signed him to even a bigger contract, and maybe having Shannon Sharpe doing his own show, and maybe he can simulcast over at First Take and debate Stephen A. Smith on First Take, and sometimes simulcast with Pat McAfee. I'm just only speculating that, or they just might keep it the way it is, but they're going to give Shannon Sharpe his money, all right? And they're going to give him what he wants because they want to make him happy, okay? But back to Fox Sports 1, a lot of insiders are predicting that the show is going to be no more. Now, I think that's further from the truth. And I did a video talking about the things that Undisputed could do to, if they want to make Undisputed a hit show. Well, Fox Sports 1 wants to make, and I feel like personally, it's the personnel. I think they need a big time celebrity personnel a big time celebrity person, like they already had with Shannon Sharpe, that would intrigue viewership and people to watch the show. All right. Skip Bayless is not that personality. Keyshawn Johnson is not big enough to be that type of personality. Michael Irvin, even though there's a lot of people that love Michael Irvin in the football world, that doesn't translate into the sports media entertainment realm. When you're talking about casual viewers who are not, hardcore sports fans, but do watch these shows, you're going to need someone that's got the charisma, got the charm, is funny, very informational. You had that person with Shannon Sharpe. Now, you can go watch that video. I gave you a list of people that Fox Sports 1 should think about hiring. But this video is more so about if the reports are true and they cancel Undisputed. I think personally, Fox Sports 1 won't do that because they will be admitting that how they did Shannon Sharpe was wrong. And if they cancel Undisputed, best believe the people that made that decision will no longer work for Fox Sports 1. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's just play devil's advocate. If they do cancel Undisputed, despite the hate that Skip Bayless gets, despite people's constant criticism of Fox Sports 1 and the decision and how they treated Shannon Sharpe and yada yada yada, despite all that, I think it will hurt the sports entertainment media. You always have to have that other show. Now I think sports media life will go on without Undisputed, but I don't think it would be the same. But if they do get rid of and cancel Undisputed, what you're going to replace in that time slot, because you're going to move the Herd show up earlier. Are you going to move First Things First back into the morning? Or are you going to introduce a new show to compete with First Take when First Take goes live? I think this would really, in my humble estimation, this would really put put Fox Sports 1 back a little bit. And that decision is a step closer to Fox Sports 1 going back to having cowboy rodeos early in the morning. That's been pre-recorded. Fishing shows that's been pre-recorded. Info commercials. You might as well say that's where you're heading. All right? Because I don't see the shows that are, getting the viewership changing their time slot. Okay. But let's just say hypothetically they get rid of Undisputed. Also, that's going to be a pretty pricey tag. Not only you're going to cancel the show, what you're going to do with Skip Bayless? I mean, he's on your payroll for like the next 2 years. I don't know about Keyshawn, Michael Irvin, and Richard Sherman. I don't know if they signed 1-year contracts. Michael Irvin can always go. Michael Irvin can just continue to do the NFL Network. Okay. Keyshawn will probably, probably be on Fox Sports 1 payroll, but they'll probably have him in a different capacity. Now, Richard Sherman, in his DUI situation, I think this would give them an excuse to get out from under that contract by firing him. Okay? And don't be surprised if they make an announcement that they're no longer going to have Richard Sherman on Undisputed. I thought personally this was going to be, a good concept. Richard Sherman and Skip Bayless. And I said, even though Richard Sherman may not have a lot of charisma than Shannon Sharpe, or funnier than Shannon Sharpe, or entertaining than Shannon Sharpe, I thought Richard Sherman would be, can compete with Shannon Sharpe when it comes to the X's and O's and the inside of the NFL. But I think where they was going to lack at when Richard Sherman talked about other sports, and you saw it when he talked about the NBA. You saw a difference. When Shannon Sharpe talks about the NBA, he knows what he's talking about. And it's not, a casual conversation. He goes deep into the details. When it's Richard Sherman, it's just casual talk about the NBA. Meaning, the NBA, he probably don't watch the NBA a lot, and he only watches the NBA when his favorite team is playing that night. But when it comes to the other ball clubs in the NBA, he has no idea or no clue what's going on with those teams. Okay? So you saw where Richard Sherman shined, and you saw where he stumbled. And that's why I always thought that, when football season was closing out, they was going to have a basketball squad that was going to talk about basketball. And the person I thought would be in that conversation is, I don't know why I want to say Richard Paul. Oh my God, I lost that man's name. They ended up hiring him anyway. Play for Boston. Oh my God. And I'm not talking about Rondo or Kevin Durant. Paul Pierce. And I made that request months ago before they started talking about the new cast of Undisputed. I thought Paul Pierce was going to be part of their basketball team. Okay. And if you couldn't get Paul Pierce, well, Paul Pierce would be my second or third option. My first option would be Jalen Rose. Now, I know Jalen Rose and Skip don't see eye to eye, and they're probably not friends. But I thought that would have been must-see TV. Okay. I thought either Jalen Rose or you pull somebody from or give somebody that used to work for ESPN a lot of money and join Fox Sports 1, or Paul Pierce. Okay, and they chose Paul Pierce. Now, my humble estimation, I fully expect Undisputed to be back after their summer break. Would not surprise me none if they change the cast yet again. Have a cast that's universal, universal. Not only they can talk about football, but they can talk about basketball, baseball, UFC, boxing. The list goes on and on and on, on and on and on. Okay? And I do see Keyshawn Johnson coming back. I do see Michael Irvin coming back, but only for football talk and football talk only. And I do see Paul Pierce in that circle. But do not be surprised if you see Max Kellerman or Jalen Rose. If they can get either or, Max Kellerman or Jalen Rose, I think you'll see that whole team dynamic would change. They would briefly have Michael Irvin for Dallas Cowboy talk, and they will briefly have Keyshawn Johnson with pro football talk. But the majority of the show is going to be a versus between Skip Bayless or Max Kellerman, or Skip Bayless or Jalen Rose. I think that would be must-see TV. I think the viewership would come in. I think the ratings would go up because you'll have a hero versus a villain type of concept. Skip Bayless is always going to be the villain, all right? And that's what made Shannon Sharpe's show great, because he was so likable. Well, Jalen Rose is likable. Max Kellerman is likable. Max Kellerman is extremely likable to the African-American community. And I feel like one of those two guys, Fox Sports 1, should, back up the Brinks truck and get one of those two guys. You don't need an analyst with a high IQ. You don't need an analyst with a popular name, okay? You just need someone that the viewers look as, okay, that's my favorite. Skip Bayless is never going to be the odds-on favorite for viewerships and for ratings. Now, when people come and listen to Skip Bayless, they're normally listening to Skip Bayless because they want to hear what crap he's trying to throw on the wall. But, people, when they watch Undisputed, they want to see the hero versus the villain. And I think you'll get that concept more so with Max Kellerman and Jalen Rose than anybody else. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you again. All right? Deuces.